book club lovers, it is my pleasure to bring you yet another edition of the Tando Channel Book Club. Tonight, I have a special guest with us on our pre recorded show during our themed month on children's literature and children's literature publishing. Her name is Makomborero Now, and she is a young lady of 17 years of age. Welcome, Mako. How are you?
Hi, Selina. How are you? I'm fine, and you?
I am doing great, and I'm so happy to have you here with me for today's show. So, many of you who watch the show regularly, and those of you who may be watching this for the first time, might be interested to know, and will be reminded to know that what we do is we always start each show with a quote from an African author. We love to celebrate African female authors, and that's what we're about here on the Tando Channel Book Club. So, today's female author and the quote that I've chosen speaks to both the theme of this show and what we're going to be talking about with Mako, and the theme of the current few weeks where we've been talking about children's work. So, the author is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who has written very well known stories in popular fiction about our time and about our experiences both here on the continent and as migrants abroad. And here is what she says: how stories are told, who tells them, when they're told, how many stories are told are really dependent on power. And I chose that quote to begin the show where we're going to talk with Mako about her experience, because I think that there is something very empowering about her story, as she has published her first book at the tender age of 17. Well, she's going on 18 now, but she published it when she was around 17. So, for those of you who are meeting Mako for the first time, let me tell you a little bit about her. Mako is a young lady of 17 years of age who was born in Harare, and she resides there. She was pursuing her O level at FD Roosevelt Girls High at the time of writing her first anthology ever, called Profused Feelings. She started writing poems in and she won the third position in the Daughters of Destined for Purpose 5th edition poetry competition. Makomborero is an introvert with an open heart, and she loves to understand people. She is a poet as well as a daughter and a sister to a brother. So, Mako, kick us off and let us know why you wanted to write Refused Feelings and how you even came up with the idea of writing a book.
Thank you, Selina. Well, it wasn't planned for me to write a book. I don't know how I got to write a book, but I grew up writing diaries and all, and then I was wondering what my gift was. So one day there was a poetry competition at my school, and I decided to write one. And also, I had a sister. She was in Form 4 and I was in Form 1. She loved poems, so I started reading poems and writing a poem. Then from then, I started writing and I filled a whole counter book with poems. But then I didn't want to publish them. So the next time I had a competition, I wrote a poetry competition and I won. And then people started telling me that you should publish your poems. And then I was like, no, I'm not interested yet. So then time passed by and I had a lot of poems. So I just decided maybe I should publish a book. Then I asked my mom. Then my mom had to borrow some money from her friends. Then I had my book published. That's how I got to write a book.
Wow, so that was really amazing. And well done to your mother for really supporting that dream at that tender age and doing everything she could to make that happen. So tell us a little bit about what the publishing journey was like for you, because you also chose to self publish this book of poems. So, how did you work through the process, and what was that experience like for you?
I had to look for a publisher on a WhatsApp group and I got one. Then at first it was all right, but then I didn't get the whole package, like everything that he had said. So I had to get one cover. I was supposed to choose two covers. So I had to choose. I had no option then because he gave reasons and all. And then after the publication, he didn't print the copies that he had said he had printed. So then he asked for money and we had to print for ourselves. Then there were some errors as well. So it was not a good experience. It was challenging because maybe you would say you would take advantage because of age or something like that.
Totally. I totally get that. And I think sometimes also you get some people who take advantage of others who also don't know enough about the publishing process. Well, I'm happy that you persevered and that you managed to get your first print run out and you're actually on your second print run out. So your book is now on Amazon. And for those of you who are interested in purchasing a copy of Mako's book, you can get it on Amazon and look for the title Profused Feelings by Makomborero Now. And we will also have a link in the comments when we air this show. Mako, is there any place else that other people can get your book, especially people who reside in Harare?
Yes, they can get my book at New Eastgate Mall, F12 at Hattie Perry Clothing Apparel.
Great. So you heard it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, directly where you can get copies of the book in Harare. But for those of you that are outside of Harare, please do go ahead and get yourself a print-on-demand paperback version on Amazon.com or on Kindle, and the title is Profused Feelings by Makomborero Now. So, Mako, tell me a little bit about this book in particular. What can readers expect to experience in some of the poems that you've put in that book, and what is the book about?
Okay, so the book is about our day. The book is about our day-to-day experiences, the old, the young, the teenagers, everyone. It's all about what people go through every day, and it's non-fiction, non-fiction. The real life stories. So basically, people are going to expect to have different kinds of emotions, happy, sad, etc.
Well, I love what you say about it being about everyday experiences and the wide range of emotions we go through in life, and that they're real life stories. Because when you go through the book, you definitely are told many, many different stories. And some of those poems tell stories about COVID, some of them tell stories about real teenage experiences. Most of them are stories of faith, and they're very, very interesting stories. So it's a quite a nice, diverse mix, which is rich, which is probably why you came up with that title, Profused Feelings. Now, since your book has been in print and people have started reading it, what are some of the comments and reviews you've received about the book, and what are those that have surprised you? And what are those that have really, really made you feel rewarded for going through the process of publishing your book?
Well, most people say it is a good book. It is interesting and it is realistic. And some say you should have written this way, you should have written that way. So I don't really know what people really want. But most people say it's a nice book. They like it and they would like the families to read it so that they could learn one or two things from it. And also they say the book teaches both the young and the old. It makes them understand.
So when people tell you it teaches the young and the old, did you write the book for both the young and the old, or did you write it for people who were closer to your age?
I wrote it both for the young and the old because at the back cover it's written for us all to understand each other.
Great. And I think that's a lovely goal in terms of writing this book, just helping us all understand each other better, because we could use a bit more understanding in today's world. So,
Yes.
Mako, it's been great talking to you and listening to you talk about your journey in publishing and definitely about how Profused Feelings came to be. One of the questions I would like to ask, and I'm sure some of our viewers would want to know the answer to, is what's next? Are you going to write another book, or are you just going to continue marketing this book? What's next for you?
Well, I've already finished another book. I'm waiting for publication. It's called Random Thoughts because it was written randomly. More like in between a day, I'll just feel like writing, then I write. Then I leave it like that. The next day or another week, then I write. So I wrote it last year, and there are also some poems from this year.
That's great. Well, one of the things that is very encouraging to hear about that is that you've continued on your journey as a writer, and that you've used, I think, the energy and the benefit of being a young person to continue writing. Are there any things that you're going to do differently this time in terms of publishing?
Yes, I am going to. I'm going to do self publishing as well, but I'm going to be helped by Fungi Socks, and I want a new way of setup. And now that I know what I am supposed to have, I'll be wiser in choosing everything that I'm going to get published.
That is awesome. And that is so. We're going to wrap up today's show. And we are so grateful that you've come and you shared your experience to us. I can vouch for Fungai Socks. I think he's a good and a good guide through the self-publishing journey. So I'm looking forward to your next offering, and congratulations on writing your first book at 17. For those of you who are watching and who have children of the same age, children who may be younger or older, who also have a dream to write in their heart, we hope that Mako's story has inspired you and motivated you and given you some ideas that it can be done little by little in different ways, and different people will come and help you along the way. So, thank you very much, Mako, for joining us and for talking us through your journey as you wrote Profused Feelings. This has been a wonderful edition of the book club, and we will see you same time again next week with another amazing African female author as we celebrate them each week on the Tando Channel Book Club. Stay well and stay safe, and most importantly, this winter, stay warm. Good night.
You're welcome, and thank you as well, Selina, for inviting me. Have a good week. Be blessed. Thank you.
Thank you.